man.
So today I'm going to do, it's all even numbers today. So my countdown is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Hello, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, not 0. We are here with you. Andrew, take it away.
Beautiful. What a talent you have. God bless you. God bless you. Welcome, everybody. It's a beautiful Wednesday, the 3rd. It's nighttime for me here. It's evening time for those of you all back home. And wherever in the world you may be, we are blessed to have you all here for webinar number 6. We are going to be talking about one of the most powerful topics around the world, something that motivates and moves a lot of people, finance. We're going to be talking about money, but we're going to be talking about it in a very positive and very informative way. Our platform here is for positivity and nothing but positivity. We want everybody to learn in the best form of fashion that they can. So today we are going to allow you all to ask as many questions as you all possibly can, because this is a topic that so many people would like to learn about, and a lot of things, even myself, I'm learning more and more every day. Some people have experienced finance in school, but it doesn't teach you exactly how to take a loan. It doesn't teach you exactly how to invest your money. There are a lot of things that they're not taught in school, or in some cases even university, because not everyone studies finance in university. Or some people who don't even end up going to school, who are entrepreneurs, they don't have much of a finance background. So no matter your age, no matter your background, no matter your religion, no matter anything, we all need to have a solid understanding of finance. So we have a special guest who's going to be joining us here today, and I'm going to let my lovely friend, Mr. Lafoucade, Mr. Don, do a little introduction to our lovely guest.
So good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, in fact. Welcome all. As you know already, Andrew is one of my favorite people. Okay, he's one of my favorite people, and he just made a comment there that is really typical Andrew, because none of us have arrived, and he, just like me, we are all here to learn. We are all here to learn, and we are just excited about this topic just as much as many of you are. And the topic is the importance of savings. But before we get to that, 2 quick, and I just call them house announcements. I'm not sure if that's what you say for Zoom, Zoom announcements. But we want to wish Andrew, we have a young lady on today who is 17 years today, Andrea. So Andrea, happy birthday. And Andrea, a little love for me. Happy birthday, Andrea. Andrew, for a 17-year-old to say I'm going to spend part of my birthday, right, with positive moments with Andrew and Don, to tell you something special. So glad to have you both on. Happy birthday, Andrea. And we also have, I know that Dan Matty may be on as well. Today is her aunt's birthday, and she wanted to send her aunt is 84 years today. 84 years old today. I'm not sure if she's watching us on Zoom, but they have to tell her afterwards what we said, But Andrew, it's really a joy to introduce this young man. The young man who's going to chat with us today. Okay, and again, happy birthday, Andrea. Andrew, they have like Sherlock Holmes when you're talking crime. They have like Sherlock Holmes that could investigate a matter. But let me tell you, when it comes to a finance matter, there is a Sherlock Holmes of finance. That's how I wanted to call him, a Sherlock Holmes. And we're talking a lot of money today. We're talking about a lot of money. And Andrew, there's a special picture, Andrew, I want you to put up for me. Just tell you the kind of money we're talking about. Folks, listen to me carefully. We're talking money, and we're talking honesty, we're talking integrity. And Andrew's going to put up a quick photograph for you. And we have a young man on by the name of Kyle Boynes. Okay? And this young man here, folks, this young man here, a couple of years ago, walking around break time, this young man who's on with us today, his name is Kyle. Kyle found $10,000 in an envelope, and Kyle took the money right away to his teacher. And Kyle is on with us today. So I want you to send some love to Kyle. He has been on another positive moments with Andrew and Don. And you know, Andrew, if you look at me sharing with him here, his name is Kyle, Kyle. And in his name is the word key. And if you take out key out of Kyle, you leave the L. So the key is to learn. And all of us here today to learn, I call him the Sherlock Holmes of finance. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew's one of my favorite people, and so too this gentleman. I think Andrew, I want to show his face. Show his face now. Where is he? Where is he? Folks, I want us to give some love to where I want to see his face. He's going to come on soon. I know he's there. Aha, there he is, folks. He is Saad Baksh. And let me tell you, when you say the word, they have some superlatives you have to use. You see, when you're trying to say the best, the top, the one and only, the one of a kind, super, fantastic, wonderful, humble. You all see how many words are using? But all of that describes this gentleman. He is the top in his field. Let me just say this, not this. He is the top in his field, and is so glad to have him on. He is Saad, don't just say Saad Baksh, it's Saad Anthony Baksh. Okay, it's a special ring to it, Saad Anthony Baksh. Okay, so Saad, welcome from Andrew and myself. We're glad to have you with Positive Moments, and we're talking the importance. I'm still not sure if it's saving or savings. If you have to have a saving in order to have savings, or you have to have savings so you know what you're saving. And it's kind of confused me a little bit, but welcome, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Don. Thank you very much, Andrew. Firstly, I want to give thanks to God. I want to thank God and my Savior, Jesus Christ, for having me here present today. And Don, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Andrew for having me on as your guest. I feel humbled to be part of your lineup with regards to your panel of guests that you have had thus far, and that I know who may be coming after. So I feel very privileged to be on, and let me thank both of you again for having me on your program. And also, thanks to Republic Bank, because without Republic Bank sponsoring this program will not be possible. And I love your theme. It's positive moments, and that is something that is lacking in society. I remember when we first started this, about 6 episodes ago, when you had your first run, I told you that all we hear about is negative and negatives. When you turn on the TV, it's negative. So I'm glad to know that the both of you took the initiative to actually have positive moments with the people of Toronto Tobago around the world. So thank you very much for your introduction. I now have to add another name to my title there, so I'm the Sherlock Holmes of finance, so that's okay. Thank you very much. So I know today you
let me put a little 2 cents in there for you. While it's called Positive Moment with Andrew and Don, for those of you who may not have their bank in a positive right now, you're here to share that positivity too.
Correct. Very good.
And if you are the positive right now, we're looking to flip that positive and double it and triple it.
Wow.
Correct. I see Don is rubbing off on Andrew with his use of the language. So very good. So let me also welcome all our attendees to this afternoon session. I hope I will be able to answer your questions. I hope at the end of it all that we are better for it. I always tell my advisors when I meet with them, whenever you meet with a client or you interact with anybody, make sure that when you leave that person, they are in a better position. So I hope that this afternoon, that my contribution would assist everyone to be in a better position, not only financially, but also mentally, and also with regards to your whole outlook on life. So the importance of saving or savings, as the case may be. I know there's a little issue with the vocabulary there, but we'll go along with saving is fine. And there's something that Andrew spoke about just now. And whilst doing my research and preparation for this presentation, something dawned on me that I heard when I entered the financial services business 50 years ago. And one of those things was we were never taught about these things in school. Money and cash flow and the use of money and how to spend money was never taught to us. So it's sort of a trial and error. And then we have to depend on, the advice of others in order to spend money wisely and to save money wisely. So how does that impact on us today? And COVID-19 and the word pandemic is something that, you know, it sends chills down people's spine when you hear the word pandemic. It's you know, it's very it's very negative. But the issue of the COVID-19 and the financial impact of COVID-19 is what I want to deal with today. And how can we be in a better position and thinking positively to come out of this situation that some of us might find ourselves. And you know, we were never taught about savings. And you know, I pull up a quote from Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett said, "Do not spend first, but rather save first and spend what is left." And I think that is so instructive about how we should be operating as individuals, as budding entrepreneurs, as business owners, especially in this time that we are in. Now, people are generally motivated to save, and I'm using the word save here. They're generally motivated to save when there's a powerful why. So, only when you see something that you want, and it's not necessarily that you need, but you want this new vehicle, you want this nice home, you want this, you know, whatever it is, a nice luxury item, a nice watch, or whatever it is, and you will save for it if it is a strong why. Now, what this pandemic taught us, though, is that the majority of people might not have been saving correctly. And I'm saying correctly because there are some rules of thumb that we use. And I'm saying we, especially in the financial services and as financial managers worldwide, about saving for emergencies. Now, this pandemic is something that nobody could have predicted. It was really called something like a black swan. It happened without us really preparing for it, but it caught most of us unaware as to what the repercussions would be. Now, we are almost 3 months into this slowdown, shutdown, lockdown, stay-at-home order. However, now, thankfully, in Trinidad, we are coming out of it. There are some other parts of the world that are still under lockdown. And what most people realized is that their lack of savings, and some realize that because of their savings and their discipline to save, they managed well through the 3 months being at home, 3 months being at home. Now, the thing is, what type of savings should I have? And I'm giving you a broad spectrum before I dive a little deeper. Now, people usually save short, and when we say short term, we mean 1 to 3 years for a 1 to 3 year goal, medium, 3 to 10 years, and long term, over 10 years. So long term, just to put things in perspective, might be your retirement savings. That might be something that you would look at long term. Now, why people save money? Most times it's for acquisition. And however, because of this pandemic and because of the emergency situation that most of us find ourselves in, we always recommend to individuals to have 6 times of their monthly income put aside. Now, for those young people who are just coming on into the world of work, it might be difficult for you to have 6 months of your monthly salary saved. But then if you have a good pattern of saving, 10% of your income is what we use. And Andrew and I were walking through our budget earlier on there, but we'll show that in a little bit. But if you are saving 10% of your income consistently, then, and especially for people who are working 5, 6, 10 plus years, you should have had at least 6 months of your income. Now we're in the 3rd month, you would have been able to rally through the expenses and your normal day-to-day utilities and that sort of thing. So
let me just clarify something here.
Sure.
6 months of your savings.
6 months of your monthly income should be saved.
6 months of your monthly income.
Yeah.
So if I decide to say I'm gonna stop working for 6 months, I should be alright.
Correct.
And also, I don't necessarily, it is probably recommended too, but maybe I do that every other month. Is that allowed, or is that possible, or do you say no, every month you had to do it?
Right, so I would want to institute a level of discipline. Now, barring that there might be some, unforeseen circumstance, but it's discipline. And at the end of the day, Andrew, you will know about discipline based on your sport. If you're not feeling to train on a morning, you will have to get up because your coach will be telling you, look, it's 3:30, it's time to get up, we need to go in the water, right? So it's all about discipline. And those who are most disciplined would be the persons who would have found themselves in a better off position given this COVID-19 issue. Now, what the COVID-19 issue also brought to the fore is that if some people perhaps would have, God forbid, they lost their job, forget COVID-19, but it puts you in a position where you could say, if I wake up this morning and I lost my job, where would I be able to pay, or how would I be able to pay my monthly expenses? I have no savings. So it brought us some sense of reality that, here what, we can't be living month to month. We can't be living week to week or fortnight to fortnight. We need to start to put some things in place. So I'm hoping that after today, we could have that level of discipline to at least start with that 10% figure. Whatever you earn, whether it is $3,000 a month or $300,000 a month, it should be 10% of your income, whatever that 10% is. The other point that I wanna get at here,
hold on,
is that
saving,
right,
is one thing,
right,
because you could be saving that money, but
right,
nothing is becoming of it.
Right.
So we're gonna go there.
Good question. We could go there one time. So if you're saving this money, you're keeping it under your pillow. So the question is, where should I be saving the money? And there are various instruments, and we always preach, and I'm saying we as financial managers, we always preach diversification. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Now, if it's for your short to medium term, it could be Republic Bank, that you put your 10%, you have a savings account. And Don, I didn't tell you this before, but my first savings account, when I came into, I think was my allowance probably in secondary school, would have been with a Right Start account.
I remember you in secondary school. I remember you in secondary
school. Yeah, you remember me there? You remember me there? Yeah. It would have been a Right Start account, and you had some level of discipline to put this into your savings account. Now, as you get older, then, and as your funds start to accumulate. So for instance, this emergency fund should not be an investment type fund. An emergency fund should be easily accessible, because in the event of any emergency, you want to easily access those funds. So this is not an opportunity fund, which is different. So I'll get to that in a little bit. So we have emergency, and then we have opportunity. Now bear with me a minute, and I'm using opportunity here, because in every calamity, there is opportunity. Now, there are instances in this COVID-19 scenario where people were strapped for cash. And those people who had the cash saw opportunity. So, a vehicle might have been $100,000, but the person is under some pressure because he didn't save well. And you know what? It was going for $60,000. I'm just using some arbitrary figures. You could easily be able to purchase the vehicle, or if you want to look at things from a bigger perspective, it might be a property. The property might have been worth, let's say, $2 million, but this person is under pressure. You might get for 1.2, 1.3 million, but you had a $100,000 down there as a fixed as a down payment, and you could easily capitalize. So it's emergency, and then you also have another fund that you could set up for opportunity. So it's something that we all need to be mindful of in proper financial planning. Now, again, nobody teaches this in school, and because of the numerous courses and the numerous conferences and those things that I would have attended, you pick up very good ideas from the who's who. And just to tell you one other thing they've done, I had a one-on-one conversation with Damon John, who is the Shark Tank. In fact, he is my the person that I will be liaising with for a big conference, and that is how these guys operate. So you see them accumulating a lot of wealth. But you know what? They move very, very prudent, and they move very, very smart, and they're disciplined as it relates to money.
Wow. So Saad, if I could just add on, I know you have some slides to show us as well too.
Yeah.
So Saad, if I'm hearing correctly, having funds is wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom involved.
Correct.
You know, Andrew, and later on, Andrew's going to get me to break down that word, and Andrew will afterwards for you, right?
Sure.
Right? But
sure.
Wisdom, you know, the wisdom is what we're getting. And you have us in school. I know we don't get this in school, but let me tell you, right now I have a pen and paper, and I'm like, to say. So, us, all of us students here, you know, we are willing to learn.
And I wanna also say something, that I myself, I have never arrived at that destination. It's a journey. So I am continuously learning as well. You would attest to that, Don. Andrew, you could attest to that too. That we are continuously learning. So none of us have, we have arrived. Yeah. So what I also want to delve with here though, and just to
You
speak
have a
on,
question, huh?
sure,
What
what
motivates you to be
motivates you to be
disciplined?
disciplined? What
What?
can I use to motivate myself? I could deal with that now. I think it really is having a goal and an objective and having a defined goal. And I want you to, most people will have a goal, and the goal might be, well, one of these days I want to own my own home. Nah, that won't work. I want you to drive by the area that you want to have this home in. I want you to price the land or price your dream home that you see. And we all start with the end in mind. That's one of the things that Stephen Covey preached, starting with the end in mind. With the end in mind. So let's start with the end in mind, and we can work backwards to see what you need to do to achieve that objective. So it really is to be disciplined, and probably from where I sit, it really is having those goals very, very well defined. And then the sky's the limit. The world is at your feet, as they say, right?
And they
What
came in
can I
it.
use to
Go ahead, go ahead.
what can I use to motivate myself? I would say keep it visual. Human beings are visual animals. We have to see something, and we have to be there and be in that picture. So, certain things that I wanted, and I had the picture of it. It was on me. It was on my phone. It was in my office. It was all over. And you know what? It becomes part of you. So we are very visual creatures. And I see another question here. My dad and mom taught me something they learned from their parents. If you work for $1, save 25 cents. Excellent. Excellent. Because
Fantastic.
the reason why I use the 10% is 10% is supposed to be your emergency. That goes to your emergency type fund. Then you have your medium-term goals that you're trying to save. And then you also have your long-term goals, which should also be another 10%. So we look at your retirement. So most of us, I believe here, might be a few years away from retirement. We mightn't be right upon retirement. And therefore, we need to start to save actively for your retirement. Now, the thing about saving for long term is it's something called pain and gain. So the pain is now. Now the gain is down the road. But you see that nice dress, or you see that flashy suit, or you see that nice watch, and you decide to be a little bit indisciplined, and you pull out the money that you have for your long-term savings. That ain't gonna work. We have to be disciplined and actually live through that. You know what? This is for my retirement. I'm not touching it. So I just wanted to make that. You mentioned 10% to save. What about investments? Is there a difference? Well, Dave, investments, again, that is another realm of your savings program. You have emergency funds that you could easily access. You have opportunity funds that you could also easily access. If you're looking at investments, I would probably use the rule of thumb as well as another 10%. Now, if you are not, and I will go to the budget at the end that we use, but if you are not utilizing any mortgage facility or any financing type facility, then you should be using that money that should be allocated there, and we have it as 25%. Some institutions will be willing to lend you up to 40% of your income. But if you are not using it, then it should be saved. It should not be spent, because you will have to use it down the road. It could go towards a down payment for your property down the road. It could go towards a down payment for whatever other accumulation goal you have.
So while Jenny's talking about her mom and what her mom and her dad taught her,
Yeah.
we have some people in here that are maybe not earning money as yet because they're still in
Right.
school, or
Right.
they're not in the workforce yet to be able to create that income. Some of them may be under
Right.
their parents' homes, some of them may be in school. They have different things. How could you teach somebody who doesn't have an income from early to start to save?
Well, I am certain that they will be getting an allowance, or they will be getting some sort of stipend in order for them to go to school, or use at the cafeteria, or whatever the case may be. That is a simple discipline that you could learn from now, and it means putting aside. That's all. It's just discipline. Now they say, you see, the other aspect of it is human beings are formed really by habits. We are creatures of habit. So if you start early, then as you earn more and as you go into the working world, hear what? It becomes second nature. You don't have to break the old mold, because it's already there in you to have that saving habit.
So you would encourage parents to not only save for their kids, but to tell their kids, I'm
Of course,
saving
of
for
course.
you every day.
Of course, it could be every week. For instance, if they get their allowance for the week, and I know a lot of young people are on this session, it will be to save a percentage of that, and let's use 10%. So if you're getting $100 a week, if you're getting $10 a week, here what? Save a percentage. And that is the important thing on the social side that parents should be teaching their young ones. Because for too long we have been a dependent society. And I hope that in years to come that all of us could be fully independent. That we know we don't have to depend on a handout. Or you know, and we saw it, and I pulled up some statistics, so I will get to that now actually. If you find yourself, or for those people, not and I'm not saying anybody in our room here, but I'm using some United States statistics. There are people in the United States who would have found themselves in a serious situation because of their lack of savings and their lack of discipline to save. So most people in the US live month to month, which is really a difficult situation given COVID. Because with COVID, you had a lot of people in service industries being sent home without pay. If the business is not making money, if those restaurants and those bars and those clubs and those other service type industries not making money, then they can't pay the employees. So a lot of people found themselves almost on the breadline. And you know what it led to? And I'm going to the socio-economic impact of improper savings. And we can bring it home to Trinidad. During this time of COVID-19, and we could use 3 months, although it's a little bit over, about 70 days or so. But we could use 3 months on average because it started first in other parts of the world. Suicide, depression, and anxiety increased tremendously over the last 3 months. And you know why? It was because of financial stress. So I'm glad that you all are having this session here this evening, because we could prevent that. The good news is, the positive moment out of this thing is that here what? It's not doom and gloom. We have a second chance. We have a second chance. Thank God that, you know, we are seeing some sort of easing up of the restrictions. People are back out to work. People are back out to their manufacturing jobs, etc. Businesses are back open. Some will be open by next week. I'm seeing that also phase 4, there'll be an early rollout of phase 4 of the TNT strat plan. But I'm saying this financial stress issue because we don't want it to impact our young people. Financial stress, and I want to recap that. Suicide rates, rates of depression, and rates of anxiety were astronomical during this COVID-19 period. And the World Health Organization alluded to it even before it happened. So there's statistical and scientific info and data to guide us. Now, and I just want to draw some stats for you. Now, this came from the Freedom Debt Relief Study, and it said 56% of Americans are concerned about being able to afford to feed themselves and their families. So imagine if these people if they really had 6 months, 4 months, 5 months of their income, no stress. Because you know what? This too shall pass, but we needed to have some kind of buffer. And most people did not have that buffer. And if you look at 56%, I mean, that's more, it's more than 1 in 2, right? If you look at it. Now, you're looking at also 45% are struggling to make their rent or mortgage payments, and 36% say they are most likely to miss a payment in the next 6 months. 30% are likely to miss their health insurance payments, etc., etc. But the point I'm trying to make here is that where there is no plan and where there are no savings, financial stress occurs. My second point there with regards to this part is lack of adequate savings also led to an extremely high dependency on state handouts, grants, and charities. I mean, Don, you will know as well, we helped quite a number of people, and they're very sad stories. I mean, I have people reaching out to me almost on a daily basis to get a hamper, but you know what? A hamper might be for 2 or 3 days. What happens after? What happens after? Thankfully, again, the positive moment here is that we are kind of out of the tunnel now. But we need to prepare in the event that something else happens. And something else might not be a pandemic, you know. Something else might be, but it might be a retrenchment. It might be an illness that prevents you from going to work. And then what happens for the next 3, 6, a year? We don't know. So we need to prepare for those things. The other thing that I wanted to share as well is that the COVID-19 experience gave us a real life scenario if we had to retire today. Because when you retire, there's no more income coming in, right? So it gave us a real life scenario of if I retired today, because COVID-19, so people had no jobs, no money coming in at the end of the month, similar to retirement. Are you prepared? And if that didn't wake up some people, then, what else will? So I hope that we look at starting to save for long term as well. Andrew, you look like you had a question for me.
I mean, I want to yeah, you keep going, because I know you're gonna come on to what you're gonna answer my question now, but
no problem. I want to share this presentation because I know for the time I don't wanna bore a lot of people, so I just want to get to my presentation.
I know your presentation.
Quickly.
That's what I'm excited about. Yeah, I'm in my chair here because I want everyone to see this.
Right. So let's go from the beginning. Good. So this is an alignment with saving and the importance of saving and savings. But this is the most common money mistakes that people make. The first being procrastination. I have time. We often hear people saying, I will start tomorrow, I will start at the end of the month. And it's procrastination in your finances. This is not going to the gym. This is procrastination in your finances. I'll start next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it probably after the August holidays. I'll do it after Easter. I'll do it next year. I'll do it after Christmas. I'll do it after Carnival. The best time is now. And there was another quote that I saw. And the quote said, a simple fact that is hard to learn is that the time to save money is when you have some. And all of us have money, whether it be from an allowance, whether it be from our job, whether it be from an inheritance, whether it be from whatever it is, a stipend. We should be looking at saving a percentage of that. My second point that I wanted to get at is, and what we discussed earlier, Andrew, is failure to establish definite financial objectives and implement a plan for reaching those objectives. Most of us, we might have an objective, but it's not a definitive objective. It's not one that excites us. And you know what too? It might be exciting us, but we never implement. And we could have this nice fancy session here today, and we spend an hour and 15 minutes together. But if at the end of that, we don't actually take action, we would have wasted an hour and 15 minutes of our time. So implementation is important. The third one is the ignorance of the time value of money. And the time value of money speaks about compound interest. And for those people who are younger in the room, now is the best time. The miracle of compound interest. If you want to Google something, Google the rule of 72, which will show you how to double your money. The rule of 72. It speaks about an interest rate and the amount of time. And if you use those two factors and it comes to 72, you double your money. So it's something that you could look at. The other one is failure to recognize the impact of inflation. And we sometimes are like the frog.
Give us the inflation example, please.
Sure. And we are sometimes like the frog in the proverbial pot of water. You take a frog in a pot of water and then you put it on the stove. The frog will boil to death. He wouldn't jump out. If you have a hot pot of water on the stove and you throw a frog in it, he will jump out. And that is what inflation is. The first case that we gave there is that is inflation. We are sitting down in the pot. It's getting hot, but we ain't moving anyway. And the perfect example of inflation that I use, and now I am merely 37, so I'm 37 years young. And the example that I use is when I was going to school, I remember spending 50 cents for doubles, and now it's $5 for doubles. Another example that I use as well is for a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread now is about $13 or $15 as the case may be, and back then it might have been $5. So watch how inflation happens, and it doesn't jump, it's gradual. So the doubles would have moved to $1, it moved to 150, it moved to $2, it moved to 250, it moved to 3, and it gradually goes. So we need to recognize the impact of inflation and to hedge against inflation. So it also brings me to another point there, which will be knowing where to save the money if you're looking at investments. It must also hedge against the headline inflation. And as an international rule that we use a simple inflation figure of about 3.5% to 4%. Some countries are more, some countries are less. Per year, yeah, per year. So we look at between 3 and 4%. So if you could find an instrument that gives you 3 and 4%, then you are hedging against inflation. The other point I'm looking at here now, which is point number 5, is people lack of a clear understanding of tax laws. Failure to implement strategies of legally avoiding taxes. And when I speak about that, I mean now that you have the incentive of planning for your retirement into a registered retirement type fund with the Board of Inland Revenue that will allow you $50,000 for a year, depending on your income obviously, that you could get in terms of a tax break, which is inclusive of 70% of your NIS contributions. So it's something that people need to know, because immediately that person would have received a 25% interest rate. Because if you're not using it, you're losing it. So it's something that I want you to look at there. Point number 6 is failure to diversify your investment portfolio and taking unnecessary investment risks. And that is important. If something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And they're, getting involved in too much of get-rich-quick schemes could be dangerous. So do your due diligence. I'm not knocking on anybody's, whatever investment risk that they want to take, but do your due diligence and look at the historical data backing those investments.
While you're there, I have a perfect example I'd like to bring in.
Sure.
If you don't mind, I'm just gonna stop your sharing. I want to share something here, because do your due diligence. You all hear that carefully. So I'm gonna show you all a little video. That this is. Are y'all seeing this video, Don? Y'all seeing this?
Yeah.
Which year? See it?
All right. This is where I sail every day, right? This is my office. All right. So I had a little visitor in my office today. This visitor. This visitor is the size of my boat. All right, check this big boy out there.
Wow.
That's a 14-foot hammerhead shark.
Wow.
So, to me, really beautiful. I love seeing these creatures. But I want to tie this back in, very important, into due diligence. So you can bring back up your screen while I talk for a second here. Is for me now, that's like asking me, will I go and train in that same area tomorrow? That's me asking that question. Will I go back there and sail tomorrow? And the answer is yes. I did my research. Hammerhead sharks do not attack boats and very rarely attack human beings. I am not swimming, I am sailing. I've done my due diligence, I understand. This is not a great white shark. This is a hammerhead shark. And it's real important to invest your money in places that you've done your due diligence. Not because someone comes knocking on your door, Tom, Dick, and Harry, hey, give me your money, let me invest it here, I'll give you 8% return. Like, that does exist, no?
Correct.
Right, so that's my concept of due diligence that I wanted to share from you all from today. And if John will give them the concept of shark.
And you use a perfect example of a shark though, yeah?
I just want to add quickly, because that's just fun. Both Saad and Andrew, that's fantastic. And if I'm hearing correctly, Saad, investments involve some risk, but it must not be unnecessary risk.
Correct.
And I mean, Andrew would have done his investigation to find out, hey, it's okay to go in the water now. I would still have a trouble going back to sail tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
Me too. Yeah.
Right? But still, I mean, both the points.
And done. You hit an excellent point there, and it speaks about risk tolerance, because everybody's risk tolerance and their risk profile is different. I will not have the tolerance nor the risk profile as Andrew to go back into that water tomorrow.
Yes.
But Andrew's risk profile with regards to that particular scenario is different to mine. So there are some people who are willing to risk more than others, and there are some there are some people who are very conservative. You have some people who are very moderate in terms of their risk profile, and then you have some people who are aggressive. So huge return, huge risk. Low return, low risk. So again, it's some other little rules. So you know, it's flowing well with regards to those examples that you guys used there. So, and you know, everybody needs to be careful with regards to investing and looking at where you're investing. Remember, this is your hard-earned money, and you don't want somebody with some get-rich-quick scheme to come and outsmart you, and then you lose your entire savings. So that is also another point there that we spoke about earlier, which is diversification. If you want to take a little risk, you know how to do all. You could put some in there. Going to number 7, inadequate protection. Andrew, I don't know how you're going to put one foot in the water or something, but we'll deal with that in a little while. Inadequate protection against unforeseen losses. And this is something that is critical. And when we speak about inadequate protection against unforeseen losses, it means that we did not leverage properly, nor did we mitigate certain risks. And there are instruments in the marketplace that can assist one to mitigate against those risks. One being insurance is an easy way where you pay a little bit and you're protected for a lot. And you know, Andrew will tell you about health insurance and life insurance, critical illness, and your vehicle insurance and all of those things. The other point I want to go at there is letting family spending run wild. Stick to the budget. Pain versus gain. A lot of times, and this is where the discipline comes in. We spoke about discipline earlier. Discipline means sticking with a budget. And you know, there's a perfect example of how to have a budget. And I will just give it to you briefly as I have it here. But if anybody wants any information, you know, the question I always get asked is, you know, how could I get in contact with you if I need to plan my budget? And so I'll give you my contact information after. But the rule that we use basically would be no more than 15% of your gross income should be spent in taxes. So that's 15% taxes, 5% for insurance, 10% for retirement, 10% for savings, 25% for loans. But if you're not in a scenario where you're using a mortgage facility or a loan facility, that 25% should go back into savings. And the last one we have there is that your living expenses should not exceed 35% of your income.
You'll put this on paper for them. This is real good.
Yeah.
That's real good. I never even knew that one.
Yeah. So no more than.
And Andrew, if you could just add too, we're gonna have it on the YouTube, the positive moments with Andrew and on YouTube. So you want to encourage you folks. What you're getting here, I don't want to jump and say anything, but what you're getting here is priceless. You go ahead, Saad.
Sure. So just to recap it with you, if you all have your pen and paper there, 15% for taxes, 5% for insurance, 10% towards your retirement, 10% towards your short to medium savings, 25% for loans. If you have no loans, that 25% should go back into savings, and no more than 35% of your income should be spent on your living expenses. And when I say living expenses, I know Andrew has his budget that he uses where it's itemized. TNTech, TSTT, WASA, grocery, your cell phone bill, your gas for your vehicle, all of those things are considered your living expenses. Your rent will be considered there as well as your living expenses. As I go to number 9, unrealistic expectations. And there's a big one. Because sometimes when we're not seeing the gain, you know, in our horizon, we want to become indisciplined, or we're quick to pull out in terms of what that investment that we made. And I want to tell you that things don't happen overnight. There's a saying, Rome isn't built in a day. But you know what? Having unrealistic expectations could throw you off. So you need to also manage those expectations. If it's short to medium, let's have an objective. If it's short run, let's have an objective. If it's medium, have another objective. And if it's long term, let's have a plan. And that's what it's supposed to be about. And as I'm going to number 10, failure to use professional advisors. And the example that I drew to Don earlier is that if I have a severe headache, I will not go to my uncle who is an accountant if I have a bad headache. I will go to a doctor. Similarly, if it's talking about finance and if it's talking about your finances, then you need to employ or solicit the advice of a professional advisor. And the reason why I'm saying professional and not just advisor is that you need to make sure that the individual who is engaging you and who you are engaging with regards to their services, those people are certified, they have some level of academic background with regards to what they're doing and a track record as it relates to their experience. So it's something to be very, very, very careful about. You don't want to be taking advice from somebody who is just first year medicine. You would want to go to somebody who's a specialist. And I'm just drawing that example. So this basically is the end of that presentation, and I have it here. If you like a copy of the presentation, feel free, and I'll leave this up for a few minutes. It's SaadAnthonyBaksh@gmail.com, or you could contact me directly. I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on iMessage, I'm on text message, phone. I only have one phone, so everything comes here. It's 759-1489.
All right, so I love that, boy. That's really good stuff, and I'm glad we have this recorded for everybody. But I would like to bring in something here that I learned as a young boy. When I was young, you know, my father said, you know, well, I'm not gonna give you what you want unless I understand why you want it. If you want $20 to go to school with, you need to break that down to me. What you spending $20 on? I'm sending you to school with lunch already. You don't need $20.
Right.
What do you want $20 for?
Right.
Well, now, to be honest, I don't really feel to eat the food I got today. I want to buy in school. And he was like, I'll give you this $20 if you're gonna consider saving 10 of it. So you spend 10, spend 10 in school, and you bring home 10 and you put it wherever you need to put it, in your pillow or a piggy bank or whatever. A
piggy bank, yeah. We had piggy bank in our days.
Exactly.
I don't know if people still use those. Don't people still use piggy banks now that you had to break in order to get it up?
Yes, and I had a butter knife that could take a 25 cents out just smooth. I had it happen well.
So something that I created over time, and is already a life cost, you know. And
this is excellent. This is excellent. And again, let me draw one point here too, Andrew. We all have to take responsibility for our own financial well-being, for our own well-being in everything that we do. Personal responsibility is important. This is not for mommy and daddy to do for you. This is not for the wife or the husband to do for you. In fact, couples should be sitting down and actually, if you know, for those people who are married in this group, sit down and plan a budget at when you get your salary, or even before, so that you know this is going to saving and this is the balance that I'm left with should be going in these different areas. Go ahead, Anna. Sorry.
And that's amazing. I think also sometimes you're not only caring for yourself, you're caring for your wife and kids too. It's really important to plan together. Correct. But what I've created here, and I continuously preach about this, is a lot of people receive a salary and know where some of their money is going to go, and at the end of the month, they'll end up with nothing because they just burn money without understanding where their money tends to go. And sometimes that's just because we're not taught these basic things in school, or they didn't come into our life for whatever reason. And if you have a successful financial plan already, then you're already good to go. But if you want something that has helped me, you know, I've created all these columns here. And these columns, on top, the home insurance, the car insurance, your reserve, the supermarket, shopping, car loan, medical insurance, your salary, your savings. If you want a new car, if you want to save for carnival, if you want to save for a vacation. All these titles here, you decide whatever these titles are. You decide. These titles could go on for 45 lines down. You decide where you want to understand where your money needs to go.
And the thing is, and the important point there too, Andrew, is also that we need to stick to it. there should be no compromise with regards to what percentage goes away.
Exactly. And that's why direct debits are so powerful. Like if you have a direct debit, it allows you $300 will come out of your account, for example, every month, and that goes straight into your savings. You didn't really get a chance to take that because that came out on the first of the month. By the end of the month, that $300 is not there anymore because it went straight to saving. And I love a direct deposit. I mean, I can't say I love the one that comes off my home mortgage every day. I could definitely say that a direct deposit really creates a discipline by force.
Yeah.
So this whole concept here is not necessarily everything on this you'll be able to pay for. Some of these things like carnival might be once a year, or vacation might be once or twice or 3 times a year, however much time you vacation. But it allows you, no matter how old you are, as soon as you're able to read and write and type, you could create this. This is a vision, in my opinion. This is your personal vision of how much money you need to survive, how much money you want to earn, how much money you want to save, where your money is going to go. This is a lovely platform and so simple and so basic that will allow you to understand where's my money going and where do I want it to come from or where do I want it to go. Simple as that. I'll share this with you all in email too. Real basic.
Correct. Very good. Excellent.
And you know, just to say, as you use the word direct, we're getting some direct comments there, and somebody saying, the temptation to get the car in front of the house, how do you deal with those? Because temptation never goes away. I mean, in every sphere of life, temptation never goes away.
And I always answer that question, Don, and it's a very good question. If you're willing to live in your car, by all means, buy the expensive vehicle or the one that will overextend your budget. If you're willing to live in the car, if you're not willing to live in the car, then priority is priority. And it comes back down to discipline. Priority is priority. If your home is really, the home obviously is the number one priority. It's the number one asset that most of us have, and it's your home. So I think that should be priority over the vehicle. You have to fight the temptation. And Andrew mentioned something there earlier, which is carnival. A lot of Trinidadians get carried away for carnival, and nothing is wrong with celebrating and involving yourself in the festivity. But again, some people get carried away, and they find themselves 2-3 months down the road in debt and in problems because and they enjoyed it already, and that's the worst kind of thing to have. You enjoyed it already, you spend it out, and now you had to pay back for it. And really, at the end of the day, for what? So we need to, no, I'm not saying do not participate. Understand what I'm saying? Everything in moderation. I go to a couple fetes, I go to a couple parties, but you know what? Everything in moderation.
See, and if I'm hearing correctly, there's a difference between needs
and wants. Correct.
There's a difference between the two, and many people go after their wants and they're left wanting. You could
and that is how I started off my presentation when I said most people, in fact, all people are motivated by wants, not needs.
Yeah.
But use the wants. Use the wants as something that you really want. You see that nice home? Drive by, take a picture, have it on your phone, stick it up.
Yes.
That should be the want.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be realistic at it too.
Correct.
And there's a lot of things that people don't realize. Like Isabel said, a car is a depreciating asset. But there are a lot of things that
asset.
People don't realize that a good painting, a good watch, in some cases, are appreciating investments. So you might think, it's cool, everybody's buying this new car, I want this car too. But they don't realize that you're buying this car and your money is going bye-bye. Whereas you might take that same money and buy a painting, and in 10 years from now, that painting has quadrupled the value. People don't realize things like paintings, and they're very subtle investments or assets
that one could make. And you're very correct. You're very correct. Yeah. And they sure done.
No, but I think the information we're getting here, Andrew, I think what people would appreciate, I think we look into this Saad book on financial management, because Saad has a book here that's going to be an investment for life. I mean, the kind of information we get here, Andrew, on positive moments with Andrew and Don, these are things that people have to pay for, go to seminars and line up. And I mean, we're coming into a close, we're coming into a line in just a couple of minutes, but this has been fantastic information, so beautifully expressed. Andrew, I'm sure you agree with me.
Absolutely.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Someone's asking a question here. Can you expand a little bit on
15% for taxes? Right. So why we use 15% is because, remember, for those individuals who are earning above $6,000 a month, if you're earning $6,000 or less, then you're just paying your health surcharge and your NIS. You have no PAYE to pay. If you're earning above $6,000, the first $6,000 that you earn, or the $72,000 for the year, is your personal allowance, which is not taxed. And when we look at it, the amount that you're going to pay above the 15%, yes, it's 25% of what you earn, but it's above the 6,000. So 15%, so you need to manage that well. And the way in which you could manage that is by leveraging on the retirement type funds that the government is allowing that tax break on. So if you increase your retirement savings, you are better off for it down the road, but also you reduce your PAYE. So it will come back down to that 15%. So I hope I explained, I hope that's the explanation that the person was looking for with regards to that.
Yeah. And I think that I would like everybody to, and you could confirm that I understand correct, Saad, but you have offered your time and your number and your email to anybody who has more questions.
Yes.
Like a deeper understanding, because I know that the concept of finances is a very personal thing to some cases, and many questions may not have been asked.
Yes, and what we also are cognizant of is that everybody's situation is different. So every single one of my clients, I know that their situation will be different. Some people have more dependence than others, and then we will then know how to put things in place and so on.
So while the book is coming for a general knowledge, the personal touch, we are now through Positive Moments with Andrew and Don has now been offered to Saad and his squadron. Don't want to go into that too much, but he also has the assistance of a large amount of people to help you too.
Yes,
so
correct.
We really want to encourage you. Don't be shy. It doesn't matter if you're not earning anything right now. Knowledge is priceless, and even though you may not be earning what you want or the value that you deserve, or maybe anything right now because you lost your job, knowledge is priceless. Knowledge is money. You cannot understand how important a book is money, in my opinion. You read the right book, you gain money, in my opinion. You talk to the right people, you gain money. If you want to look at it that way, knowledge is money. So I continue to take yourself in the right direction to make these gains, and the financials will come. Have the faith, have the belief, it will come.
Yeah.
And you know, if I could just add to that, Andrew, you know, Saad started off by saying having a defined goal and start with the end in mind. I mean, Andrew, when we discussed doing this program, let me just tell you, we had a defined goal and we started with the end in mind. But let me tell you, Saad, you have surpassed anything we could have imagined. And I think again you know that you really and truly an epitome of what it takes to start small. I mean, either you're operating from emergency or you're seeing this as an opportunity. This is a valuable opportunity to our audience here. I mean, we thought that Karen Pollard added value, right? And you added value. So we have to get Karen to invest with you too. Because this is
thanks.
That would make you smile again. And you know,
thanks.
Andrew, should I tell them who we have coming up next?
No,
of course you can.
No, hold on.
Hold on for now.
Right, okay, let me hold it a little.
We have 3 questions here that I think are really important. The first one from Clifton. What advice do you give to the persons who have lost income?
To the person who has lost income, I will tell you, don't lose hope. And don't lose your faith. Now, losing income, hear what? You have a talent, you must have a gift. God has blessed all of us. And use that talent or that gift. Clifton, I mean, if the person has a talent for writing, hear what? Do something entrepreneurial. Because you know what? The world has too many followers, not too many leaders. Wow. So start something new. Start something new. Start your own venture. Start your own business venture if you want to become independent. If you know, I have a lot of business clients, a lot of business owners, and small to medium to large business owners. And when you hear, in fact, all of their stories would have been starting from something very, very small. And they had to hustle. It's hard work. But you know what? Today they are millionaires. Some might be even billionaires. But you know what? It's always, they never lose faith. You have a plan, work the plan. The other question I see there is a credit card I want. Very good question. And I didn't want to delve too much into the credit card issue. But you know what I will tell you? Credit cards are a necessity now, particularly because of COVID. Everybody has to do things online. Now, it was a necessity before COVID for people who traveled a lot. Because when you travel and you go to a hotel or you go anywhere, you needed a credit card.
No TT
Now,
dollars.
no $80, right? Now the thing is, using the credit card wisely is the key. Having a limit, having control, because you do not want to have a credit card keeping you always a month behind. Some people know what I'm talking about, right? You're always a month behind. Use the credit card wisely, because there are a lot of benefits of a credit card, the points, the miles, but you have to use it wisely. Don't let the credit card use you. You use the credit card. That's my take on that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely, lovely sessions. Yeah, we couldn't thank you more for that.
Guys, I really want to thank both of you for asking me to be on board. I mean, I have a passion for this, and I'm glad that you took the line of going into finance, because it's something that it's really like the elephant in the room. Not much people talk about it, and you guys had the brilliant idea to come and to bring finance to the fore. And as I said, financial stress, particularly at this time, a lot of people are burdened. So I hope today, with positive moments with Andrew and Don, that people got a refreshing feeling. You know what? It's not the end of the world. We could start back with a new plan. We could sit down tonight. You could sit with your spouse, sit with your parents, and say, mom, dad, husband, wife, as the case may be, I want to sit down and really work a plan with you all, because in 6 months I want to accomplish this, or in 1 year, in 3 years I want to get that. And it gives everybody that feeling of going back out again, and let me work a little harder. Let me put in a little hour before, let me put in a little hour later, and let me make one more call for those people in sales. We always tell people, one more call. Don't leave the office. One more call. You just push yourself a little further.
Exactly.
So, guys, I want to officially thank both of you for having me on. I hope I would leave people more inspired, people more in a better position to handle finances, handle your money, and to look at the importance of saving. Thank you very much.
If you could just say, for the benefit of all, if you could just say your email address again and number very quickly, your email address and number.
Well, you can write it in the text.
I'll just pull it back up. I'll just pull it back up and share my screen. So everything is
because
there.
Yes, everything. If folks, that's how you get on to Saad. I mean, Andrew, is what's my is 99.999 here. It's 100% that we get here this afternoon. Let me tell you something.
Every afternoon.
It's 100%. 100%. Feed a man a fish. Feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish. Feed him for a lifetime.
Very true.
You're helping all of us here learn to fish, learn to understand finances. And Saad, I feel we might have to do a little part to it. Andrew, we got to talk about that, Hold on,
Yeah.
We got to talk. This kind of thing can't be one and done. I mean, done here and Andrew there. It can't be one.
And now it is a little bit of a boring topic. It's not the most sparky, motivational topic, but we have transformed it into a very positive situation here. And I want the people who have stayed in here for the whole time to listen to what we said. I commend all of you, because that is value. That is money you all are making in the future, because you all are understanding your finances. A lot of people think that, I'll do that down the road. Well, check them down the road for those people who said that. Where they're going to be. There's a high chance they won't have that information of how to invest well. So when you have opportunities like this, tell your friends, share it with your loved ones. This is not for just us and for you all. We want this information to come to however many people came in here today, and you all spread that out. Spread it out. Inform people.
Correct.
Share the YouTube. Share Saad's number. Share his email. They may have never heard him before, never seen him before. Send a YouTube link and send his email. Let them talk to somebody. We are human beings, cannot survive without each other. Cannot.
Correct.
You end up by yourself on the planet, you will be the last person that ever lived. You can't reproduce.
Correct.
So, super important, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody, that we share this information. This is not gossip. This is value for life. You don't learn this every day in school. So I really encourage you all to share this, spread it wild. YouTube will be up, and exciting times ahead.
Wow.
Well done, guys.
What we have coming next, though? What we have for them next?
Well, Tenor, I want to just jump up on that with passion, and passion is really what I pass on. Passion is what I pass on, and for a lot of people, the I remains hidden. That's why they get passed on. But let me tell you, the information that you passed on here, Saad, is fantastic. And somebody knows the same thing I'm saying here. Somebody's typing it. Fantastic presentation, and it's going to be followed, folks, on Saturday, right? We come in with, should I tell them the name?
Tell them.
Golda Lee Bruce is going to be talking. We got some financial literacy, and Golda Lee is going to be talking about literacy isn't me. She's going to be sharing her story. Okay, and Golda Lee is, as you know, as you would have witnessed on CNC3, fantastic individual, fantastic person, and she's going to bring a lot to the table on Saturday. So you don't want to miss it. You want to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend.
And for our international audience, Goldie Lee is she's from our top TV station before she moved away, and she is one of the top broadcasters, journalists, the face of TV that comes with power, positivity. And when you'll hear her story, I promise you all will believe nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. We can't wait to share that story with you all.
Very good.
Wow. Nothing is impossible. That's something, Andrew, I kept that in mind with the cash man. Again, to point out, nothing is impossible. There's a way out of here. And we have to make our way out of here in a little while. But we want to tell you folks, Andrew, I, and Saad, on behalf of three of us, we really thank you for giving us the time. There are people still staying with us no matter what. And that's what positive moment is all about. This positive moment is going to set you up financially and otherwise for another positive moment. Looking forward to having you on every Wednesday, every Saturday at 4 p.m. Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. It's almost done.
So, thank you all for coming. I would like to remind you all that we're going to be sending you all the links, the YouTubes and stuff, so you all could sign up again for next Saturday. Spread the news, and please, as I started at the beginning, for those of you who didn't join us late, send your feedback. Your feedback is gold to us. Gold. When I mean gold, if there's something more powerful than gold, if it's platinum, whatever you want to call it, send your platinum, please. We want to hear your feedback. The chats are so powerful, but the personal messages of what you all want to hear more of and what you all really want to see in the future, this is your show. And we are just here putting it on for you all. So, Saad, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me. I also want to thank again all those people who were on this Zoom webinar. It really was my pleasure to be here with you all. And again, positive moments with Andrew and Don. I really hope that everybody starts to implement what we discussed, because as I said when I mentioned that part, an hour and 15 minutes could have been spent, and it's a nice presentation and we did well. But what happens after is what counts. So let's try to implement. Let's get the plans going, and feel free to contact me if anybody would need any advice or just to bounce off an idea or a question. Feel free to reach out. Thanks again, Andrew and Don.
Pleasure. Have a blessed day. Don, close the show.
Ah, boy, some creep, some crawl, some walk, some run. Let me tell you, this has been so much learning fun. Hello, I'm doing this again, not in the night, but under the sun. We got.
Have a blessed day. Goodbye.